Good evening, everyone. We are going to start this evening Sutta study class. As I informed in the flyer, I started today's Sutta studies 8:10 because of another program just finished. Anyway, I hope we can do our Sutta study class for more than 1 hour because sometimes we get extra minutes after 9 o'clock. So I don't think we missed 10 minutes because of that. Anyway, let me begin the Sutta studies by paying homage to the Buddha by reciting Namo Tassa 3 times in Pali and in English. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Homage to the Blessed One, the Worthy One, the fully enlightened One. Homage to the Blessed One, the Worthy One, the fully enlightened One. Homage to the Blessed One, the Worthy One, the fully enlightened One. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Friends, we started the Sutta studies on Anapanasati Sutta last week. We were able to discuss things around Anapanasati, which means how the Buddha got the opportunity to deliver the Anapanasati discourse in its full form. There you came to know about what exactly made the Buddha to deliver the Anapanasati discourse. And then we came to know that there were all the great monks in that assembly when the Buddha delivered the Anapanasati discourse. And we were able to mention that Anapanasati is not a simple, as we practice, as we take it simple form, it's not a simple meditation. It's a very deep, even meditation. Even the Buddha practiced Anapanasati for his enlightenment. So we were able to discuss all these important, features of Anapanasati. It was on a full moon day that he delivered this Anapanasati discourse, and then there were very important, statement there that there are 44 subjects of meditation that monks, take for their salvation, and those great monks who have some students in their, close relationship also, gave instruction for their students to practice those things. The 44th meditation subject the Buddha talks about in Anapanasati is this mindfulness in and of, breathing. So that is what we discuss, and in short, we came to know that Anapanasati, when it is fully practiced, develops four foundation of mindfulness, Satra Satipatthana, and when four foundation of mindfulness, is being developed, 7 factors of enlightenment is going to complete. And we know the fact that when 7 factors for enlightenment, are developed, Vijja Vimukti, the clear knowledge and vision, arise in us. And when clear knowledge and vision, are there, that is the nature of Nibbana. So Anapanasati Sutta is therefore a very important discourse to understand intellectually. And when intellectual understanding about Anapanasati is achieved, it is easy for someone to go to the experience part of Anapanasati. I experienced this a lot, that whenever I read Anapanasati discourse, the Pali version with Sinhala version, and then later English version and some commentaries, and some other suttas, it helps me a lot to face the challenges when Anapanasati is developed and go beyond those challenges. So because knowledge help us a lot if we use it well. So my intention with this sutta study about Anapanasati is to help you understand Anapanasati theoretically and use it later for your own practice. So since we have finished half of the discourse, in my understanding, we'll begin somewhere where the Buddha talks about the 16 steps of Anapanasati. If we take the 6 steps as single steps, we have 32, but we couple it and understand them as 16. So after the Buddha mentioned the 44 subject of meditation, and the last one is Anapanasati, he directly explained those 16 steps. Let me begin reading. Bhikkhus, when mindfulness of breathing is developed and cultivated, it is of great fruit and great benefit. When mindfulness of breathing is developed and cultivated, it fulfills the 4 foundations of mindfulness. When the 4 foundations of mindfulness are developed and cultivated, they fulfill the 7 enlightenment factors. When the 7 enlightenment factors are developed and cultivated, they fulfill true knowledge and deliverance or liberation. That's what we talked a minute ago. And how bhikkhus is mindfulness of breathing developed and cultivated so that it is of great fruit and great benefit. Here we go. Here a bhikkhu gone to the forest or to the root of a tree or to an empty hut, sits down, having folded his legs crosswise, set his body erect, and establish mindfulness in front of him or her. Ever mindful, he breathes in, mindful, he breathes out. In this passage, you have to understand certain things very carefully. What are those things that you need to understand? 3 places are recommended by the Buddha for us to go and meditate if we meditate with the subject. What are these 3 places? The first one is the forest. The forest is a convenient place for us because no human interaction except animal reactions, and wind blows and trees make those sounds, but they are not disturbances at all because our perception quickly react to human voice. So if you know that these are unavoidable, like sounds made by the wind through blowing it through the trees and so forth, and animals, birds, they always make sounds. We know that they are not human, but if there is human voice, we would definitely look around and what exactly. So we can easily condition our mind to those natural sounds. So the forest is a better place for even you to go and meditate because basically it is a silent place. So the other place the Buddha recommend is the root of a tree. It is not the tree in front of your house, in front of a shopping mall. In the middle of the road, you have medium and you have trees. No, this tree would be in a silent place too. Again, in the forest, in a silent, less human interaction should be there, and the trees and the foot of such a tree is recommended. And then we have sunyagara, empty heart, empty from humans interaction, empty from sounds made by human. So in that case, it would be a vihara where there is no any other interaction except meditation, or your room or your house when it is so in silence. So Sunyagara would be your room because you made it in a such a way that no any sound, no any disturbances there. But particularly for bhikkhus, they are kuti. The meditation hall would be Sunyagara. Sunya means empty from humans and their interaction. And the other thing we need to consider is the animal interaction too would be a problem for some mendicants, because if you go and meditate near a pond where all the animals come for water, and it is not recommended by the Buddha, because animals make a lot of sounds, and the stronger animal might come and kill weak animals. So that these are some of the disturbances you have, and you have to find out somewhere where there is no much interaction of animals. So this is the other thing we want to focus, that is sit down, having folded his leg crosswise, he set his body erect, establish mindfulness. So Anapanasati should be practiced only in sitting posture. Some teachers today recommend to be mindful of the steps when you do walking meditation, and also the in and out breathing as a way of concentration. I do not say that it is bad and it cannot be done. It could be done. But according to the suttas, we never see that Anapanasati is being recommended for any bhikkhu or bhikkhuni or lay people in other postures except sitting posture, because it is subtle. Anapana, if you want to practice just the first and second step of Anapanasati, you can do it with other postures, definitely. But if you want to go into deeper level of Anapanasati throughout all these 16, the sitting posture is the best one. No other posture can help us doing that. So look at the suttas where Anapanasati is discussed. All the time we see sitting posture is recommended for that. So sitting with cross leg and keeping the body erect, you bring your mindfulness in front of your maze. Parimukang sating upattapetva. Here it says mindfulness, establish mindfulness in front of him. Ever mindful, he breathes in, mindful, he breathes out. So you bring your undivided attention over here in front of your nose, somewhere over here. Then you can see in-breath and out-breath over here. So you know exactly that in-breath takes place and out-breath takes place. You breathe in mindfully and breathe out. So isn't this showing that mindfulness has been established into a greater extent before you practice this meditation? Parimukang sating upattapetva in Pali, having established your awareness, mindfulness in front of your face, near nostril, mindfully you breathe in, mindfully you breathe out. So that is not any step yet in Anapanasati. Mindfully breathe in and mindfully breathe out are not included into 16 steps of Anapanasati. It is still out of the steps. The first step is breathing in long. He understands, I breathe in long. Breathing out long, he understands, I breathe out long. So that is the first step. Not that mindfully breathe in, mindfully breathe out. In what I'm trying to show is that you develop Anapanasati with some sort of mindfulness. But today, all of us take Anapanasati subject for meditation just to develop the initial mindfulness, which is slightly again what the discourse says. For that fact, I get support from Maharahulawada Sutra, the Sutta previously discussed. Venerable Rahula was advised by the Buddha about the Anapanasati in such a way that he has to practice four elements, metta, karuna, and asubha, and all the preparatory meditation before he should start anapanasati. Why? Because anapanasati is deep. Anapanasati is not easy to practice just because you like it. You have to have some experience in controlling your mind. When you do those preparatory meditation, you can easily take the control of your intention, and so that you can focus well. So that is what we can see from Maharahulwada Sutta. In Girimananda Sutta, Anapanasati is mentioned as a perception. Anapanasati is the 10th perception you should develop. So it is mentioned at last. Why? If you know how to deal with other perception, you are easily doing this very direct path for nirvana, because just after Anapanasati, you have already developed four foundation of mindfulness. And when the maturity of four foundation of mindfulness is there, you have the 7 factors for enlightenment. So therefore, friends, Anapanasati should be practiced with some sort of awareness and mindfulness. So you have some ability to do it, right? So that is what we can draw from this statement of the Buddha, that Anapanasati should be practiced with some awareness. You have to look at the ana and apana, which means in-breath and out-breath, for a certain period of time. Then you see that your mind settled down there, and then you see the long in-breath, long out-breath. Long in-breath, long out-breath. So in the practical sense, we all do reciting Namo Tassa Iti Bhikkhu Swakato Supatipanno. Perhaps we have taken a shower before all these things, so we are physically and mentally ready for the Anapanasati. They are very good, because Anapanasati needs some preparedness in order to do it well. So with that, our mind has been settled. Our mindfulness is is begun in a certain way with the recitation, with physical preparation, so that we quickly get the point. We tie our mind to the breathing, because with Anapanasati, with mindfulness on Anapanasati, what we need to develop? Samadhi. Samadhi is the foundation for wisdom. So we have to understand that the noble qualities should be included or developed behind the scene when we practice Anapana, so that we look at the breath, and then we see that the mind has been taming with this way of reflection, so that we see the long in-breath, long out-breath, long in-breath, long out-breath. At the same time, you see short in-breath, short out-breath as well. Friends, this is where we see that we do not want to forcefully breathe in and breathe out. It is not recommended. But in the case of doing some programs, meditative programs, we ask people to take lungful intentional breathing, because some people complain us that we don't feel the breath. It's difficult to catch the breath, and how can you become mindful if you cannot feel it? So that technique, in order to make sense for them, we ask them to take intentional breathing, but it is not mentioned in the text. But if we take some actions like that and try to get into the right track later on, I think some experiments like this would be okay. So, so back to the steps. Breathing long, I understand breathing long. Breathing in short, I understand breathing in long. So over the course of reflection on Anapanasati, you see that pattern of breathing cycle. for a certain period, you have long in-breath, long out-breath. Then it turns into short breaths, which means that when you become mindful about this breathing process, you do not, this body does not want to rely on so much oxygen, because your mind has been in the body, with the body, so that the body, the relationship between the body and mind decide that we do not want that much air in. So that's why we have the other steps like I shall breathe in experience in the body, and I shall breathe out experience the body, and I shall breathe in tranquilizing the body, and breathe out tranquilizing the body. So when you come to the third and fourth steps, you are dealing with your breath in a skillful way, which means you have some control, and your body does not want that much oxygen, because you have taken the control of it, control of the body, control of the mind. Do you understand what I'm saying? When you become mindful about your breathing cycle, respiratory system, the body reacts positively that I do not want that much air in, that much breathing in. I can survive with little support of breathing. Do you remember that group of children in Thailand who went to somewhere near the beach, and they stuck in a cave? Technically, according to the science, when the water level goes up, all the avenues of that cave, blocked. They say that they did not have enough oxygen. If they survive, it is a miracle. So when people reach to that place where all the groups of the football team caught up, they are still surviving because they knew how to practice breathing meditation, which means that when you become mindful about your body with the help of breathing, definitely you can survive with little breath. You can survive with little oxygen, less oxygen. That's why body is surviving. That's why you do not feel the breath as before. At the very beginning of this meditation, you feel the in-breath and out-breath, short and long, very clearly. But when you become more mindful about it and no any hesitation at all in your mind, your breath is going to settle. You don't feel that clear breath anymore. But you know the fact that breathing is happening in a subtle way. What I'm trying to show is that in addition to spiritual essence we get out of it, there are some physical aspect which happens by making us surprised. You do not want that many oxygen. So your body can survive with less oxygen. So let me repeat the third and fourth step again for your understanding. He or she trained thus. I shall breathe in experience in the whole body. Whole body means some say it is physical body, some say it's the breath body. He trained thus, I shall breathe out experience in the whole body. He trained, that is the third step. And the fourth step, he trained thus, I shall breathe in tranquilize in the bodily formation. He trained or she trained thus, I shall breathe out tranquilize in the bodily formation. Passambayang kaya sankara. If we go in this little bit more, it would be beneficial for everyone. The third step is about knowing both breaths. At the beginning, you see the long in-breath and out-breath. Then you come to know short in-breath and short out-breath. Now Since your mindfulness further develops with constant reflection on this incoming and outgoing breath, you feel that the breath is going to smooth. The breath is now slow and very subtle, and it is soothing. Now you are enjoying it. So that you experience the whole breath. You particularly see both breath. Some have said, told me that they only see out breath very clearly, not the in breath. Some say that in breath is clear to them, not the out breath. That is because you are still in the basic level of reflection. But if you continue your practice further, there is a moment that you can see both breath as a cycle, so that you experience the whole body of breath according to one interpretation. And the other interpretation is that while you see the breath when it comes and go, you have the understanding about your physical body as well. I agree with this also, because practically you can feel your body. You can see whole body. I have no disagreement with that, because in my practice, I can see the both breaths together. At the same time, I see the physical, body as a unit that, breathe in and out happens. So they are all interpretation. They are all ideas, and I have no problem with both interpretations. I do not know what you think. You can share it with me, with everyone soon. So when we comes to the fourth, that is also significant. Tranquilizing the body, I breathe in. Tranquilizing the body, I breathe out. Now, a type of tranquility and piti, has been appearing in our mind. Due to the fact that you focus well on breath, you can feel your whole body. You can also feel the feeling aggregates into a certain extent, because you experience the whole body, and also tranquilizing your mind now, tranquilizing your body, tranquilizing your body is taking place. So there you have some connection to the feeling aggregates, the section we call Vedana. So now let me read that part. He or she trained us. I shall breathe in experiencing rapture. He or she trained us. I shall breathe out experiencing rapture. See, rapture, piti, it's a Vedana. See, in the first 4 steps, your primary focus is breathing, which means the body, because the breathing has a name given by the Buddha, Kaya Sankara. When we talk about Sankara in details, we have Kaya Sankara, Vachi Sankara, Chitta Mano Sankara. The Kaya Sankara means not the body does physical activities. Kaya Sankara means what is constitute this body is the breath. So the Kaya Sankara is a name for breath, because the breath makes this body, but the breath makes this body survive. Yeah, with that understanding, we call Kaya Sankara for breathing. So therefore, the first 4 steps are related to Kaya Anupassana, because you are dealing with the body. But when we comes to the 5th steps, as we read, I shall breathe in experiencing rapture, I shall breathe out experience rapture. So your prominent focus turned from body to feeling now. Kaya Anupassana was the main focus of the first 4 steps, and now we turn into Vedana Anupassana, because rapture is a part of feeling. Happy, it is not happiness. Just before the happiness, rapture, it's a mental peace. It's a mental happiness, I would say, rapture. So now you breathe in and breathe out, and your prominent focus is that mental happiness or rapture. Piti patisangvedi assasissamiti sikkade, piti patisangvedi passasissamiti sikkade in Pali. So when you come to this state, where you are, if we analyze it from the Noble Eightfold Path, friends, you are in the right jhana now. You have stepped onto first jhana, because when you look at the long in breath, in and out, long in breath, in and out, short in breath, then you see the bodily formation, and then you tranquilizing your bodily formation. So with these practices, you have overcome the 5 hindrances. So look at the jhana qualities. Vitakka vicharanang upasama, vivichakami vichakusalehi, savitakkang savicharang, vivekadang piti sukkang pataman janang sampatiyati. First jhana has 5 qualities. That is applied thought, sustained thought, and then rapture and happiness and one-pointedness. So in the first jhana, piti or rapture is 1 quality out of 5. So when we say here in the first step that I am breathing in, experiencing rapture, breathing out, experiencing rapture, which means you are in the first jhana when you come to the 5th step of Anapanasati. When you come to this level of Anapanasati, you have overcome 5 hindrances, which means you are in the first jhana. Let me begin reading the next 6th step. I shall breathe in experiencing pleasure. I shall breathe out experiencing pleasure. You never forget breathing part. In the background of your mind, you see that breathing in breath and out breath. But the prominent focus is now pleasure, sukha. Sukha patisangvedi asasissamiti sikkati, sukha patisangvedi passasissamiti sikkati. That pleasure, that is an upgraded level of piti. So you have that pleasure, sukha is there. So you feel it, at the same time you feel out breath and in breath. Why do we have those things together? Because friends, when samadhi or jhana is developed and cultivated in this manner, the capacity of your mind to hold on or see things together is developed. In other words, with this practice up to this level, the capacity to remember not only one thing or many things happens there. Not only one thing you could focus, you can focus 2-3 things together. That's why we see the in-breath and out-breath at the same time. We feel rapture and pleasure without any problem. Right? So then that is why we have here, while I breathe in, I experience pleasure. I experience pleasure while I breathe out. That is the 6th step. And the 7th one is, I shall breathe out experiencing, I shall breathe in experiencing the mental formation. I shall breathe out experiencing the mental formation. That is the 7th step. Chitta sankara patisangvedi assasissamiti sikkati, chitta sankara patisangvedi passasissamiti sikkati. So mental formation, chitta sankara, what is made by mind is called chitta sankara, vitakka vichara. So you have now vitakka vichara. Definitely you are in the first jhana. So vitakka, savitakkang, savicharang, vivekajang, piti sukhang, patamang jhanang, upasampajya, viharati. That is the first jhana quality. They are the first jhana quality. So here we say that I shall breathe out, breathe in experiencing mental formation. I shall breathe out experiencing mental formation. So you are very clear with vitaka vichara, while you have the knowledge that in-breath is taking place, out-breath is taking place. That is the 7th step. And then we go to the 8th one. I shall breathe in, tranquilizing the mental formation. I shall breathe out, tranquilizing the mental formation. Passambayang chitta sankarang asasissami iti sikkati. Passambayang chitta sankarang asasissami iti sikkati. So I shall breathe in, tranquilizing the mental formation. Why do we tranquilize? Earlier we talked about tranquilizing bodily formation. Now we talk about tranquilizing mental formation. In this regard, friends, what I can share with you is that now piti, rapture, and sukha, pleasure, are some gross level of happiness. In other words, they have the nature of arising and passing. Earlier it was not there. Earlier the rapture and pleasure were not there. There was something else. But through right reflection or further reflection on breath, on other aspect of body, you get it. So it is dependent co-origination there. There were no such things before, but due to causes and conditions, rapture and pleasure came into existence. Now what is arising has the nature of ceasing as well. Now, when you continue the observation on rapture and pleasure further, you see that they are also subsiding, they are also fading, they are also going away. When you know that with your clear understanding that they are going away, there is a subtler, more refined kind of experience come into exchange. So tranquilizing mental formation means you are seeing the true nature of rapture and pleasure. So that is what we have in the 8th step. Now I told you that the first 4 steps covers kaya anupassana, because they are all about bodily related breath. In the first step, second step, third step, fourth step, we are talking about the breath. Breath is the prominent focus. Therefore, it is kaya anupassana. But when it comes to the 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th steps, they are all talking about feeling, rapture, pleasure, then mental formation, experiencing mental formation, and then tranquilizing mental formation, which means they are all about feeling. So when we complete the 2nd tetra, which means, in other words, second set of, out of 4 of Anapanasati, you have been practicing Vedananupassana, mindfulness on feeling. You are in the first jhana now. You are in Samadhi now. See how mindfulness of breath takes you to practicing, having Samma Samadhi. So it is happening over the course of right practice on Anapanasati. Let me begin the next. Okay. He trained us. I shall breathe in experience in the mind. I shall breathe out experience in the mind. The 9th step. Then I shall breathe in gladdening the mind. I shall breathe out gladdening the mind. So do you see that significant change? Earlier in the 2nd tetra, you are mindful about feeling, rapture, pleasure, mental formation, tranquilizing mental formation. Now you are talking about mind. So you have an ability to see what kind of mind you have. I shall breathe in experience in the mind. Chitta patisangvedi asasissami iti sikkati. Chitta patisangvedi asasissami iti sikkati. So while you are having seen the in-breath and out-breath, you are particularly mindful about the mind, which is Chittanupassana. And then when we go to the 10th step, I shall breathe in gladdening the mind. I shall breathe out gladdening in the mind. Abhippamodayang chittang asasissami iti sikkati. Abhippamodayang chittang pasasissami sikkati. So you see, you make your mind happy out of that. Now, because you have some abilities, your mindfulness has been established and well established, and make it stronger by focusing more and more, not only the bodily formation, but also mental form. Now you have a kind of awareness about your mind, which is wonderful, right? So then gladdening. So you the prominent qualities are about your mind now. Now we go to the 11th step. I shall breathe in, concentrate in the mind. I shall breathe out, concentrate in the mind. That is some earlier it was abhipamodan chitta. Now samahitang chittang. Sorry, the very Pali word is it went out from my mind. Anyway, I will get it later. Now the samadhi is very clear, because the quality of samadhi is piti, passaddhi, and then gladdening, and all these things are the quality of samadhi. If you have those qualities in your mind, don't worry, you are reaching to samadhi. You are going to get samadhi in its full form. So we talk about the rapture, pleasure, and mental formation, and now we switch into mind, so that you see samadhi is clearly arising now. That is what we talk about in the 11th step. I shall breathe in, concentrating the mind, and I shall breathe out, concentrating the mind. So you see that samadhi mind clearly. Then the 12th step is I shall breathe in, liberating the mind. I shall breathe out, liberating the mind. Vimocyan chittang assasissami iti sikkati. Vimocyan chittang passasissami iti sikkati. So now you experience samadhi in your mind. Mind is something, and in it you have samadhi. You see the mind clearly as well as samadhi clearly. So now in the samadhi in your mind has the nature of changing, has the nature of moving, has the nature of going away. It is not permanent. It is not something solid yet. You understand that it has the nature of ceasing as well. So that's why you see vimochi and chittang. You can feel that the samadhi might go, samadhi might end, samadhi might stop its qualities, so that you go to the next step. So do you see that these third four is about chittanupassana? They are all about mind. When we reach to the 13th step, I shall breathe in, contemplating impermanence. I shall breathe out, contemplating impermanence there. So now your prominent focus is impermanence, anicca. Why do we have anicca there? Why do we look at it in that way? Because you see gradually that you see gradually those faculties of body and mind ends. Bodily formation, what you call in and out breathing, were gross before, and it became subtle. And then rapture and pleasure were there in its full form. Now you experience that they were also subside or going to be subtle. And also samadhi has the nature of moving, nature of ending. So with that, over the course of right reflection, you come to know that nothing is permanent. Those meant happy, very peaceful states of mind could end. So that's why you take anicca into your consideration. Anicca has been prominent in your mind. You see the in-breath and out-breath clearly in a way. At the same time, your mind is working on anicca. The breath is anicca, the rapture is anicca, and gladdening mind, samadhi mind is anicca, and everything is anicca. So while you breathe in and out, you see the impermanence nature of everything. That is the 13th step. The 14th one, I shall breathe in contemplating fading away. I shall breathe out contemplating fade away. Viraga. Aniccanupassi asasi samiti sikkati aniccanupassi passi. Now that's the 13th. And viraganupassi. So when you see the impermanence, you see not attachment, no passion at all on anything, because you see the fading, impermanence nature of it. In other words, if you see that things arise and pass away, there you do not want to have kind of glue-like nature, attachment on that, because you see that this is not permanent. Do you attach to the sand castle that children made, like children do? No, because children who are in very young age think that it is their creation and they like it to keep. But when the water comes and destroy it, they become upset. And if somebody, destroyed by one kick, they cry. But do you cry for that? No, because you know that it is sandcastle and it is made up. So like that, you understand that those happy state of mind that you develop through reflection is going to end. So anicca is visible. When anicca is visible, you don't want to attach to them because you know what is going to happen after that. So viraga sanya, or viraga as a quality of kusala chitta, come into existence when only you see anicca as it is. So it is very gradual and very practical here, what the Buddha said. So you see that moving nature. You don't want to attach to the pleasure and this happiness or samadhi you get out of the meditation. You clearly know that they are moving. You don't want to hang on to that happiness either, because you in one hand you see anicca. Now you want to be away from something changing. Then we have the 15th step. I shall breathe in contemplating cessation. I shall breathe out contemplating cessation. So with out breath and in breath, while they takes place, your focus is cessation. Now you see nirodha. You do not attach to anything. You do not want to hang on to anything. At the same time, you see the possibility of complete cessation, complete stop of all these things. There you have the last step of anapanasati, that is, I shall breathe in contemplating relinquishment. I shall breathe out contemplating relinquishment. Patinissaggana, which means detachment. You take a brave step here that you do not attach to this. So when you come to the last tetra, which means 13, 14, 15 steps, what you practice there is Dhammanupassana. Anicca, you see anicca of each and every physical and mental aspect. And therefore you have viraga. Your perception is working on not to attach, but to detach. So you see that possibility of not getting into. Therefore, nothing begins, things ceases there. Things stop there. Therefore, you can take out of all these things, which means your mind is going to be like lotus leaf. In the lotus leaf, the water doesn't stay there, doesn't get stick. As you don't see the water when it is split out. So your mind is very clear. So in my understanding, there you have come to other jhana experiences as well. It is not clear here very much about jhana, but when you come to the Chittanupassana, in that section, you see that third jhana, fourth jhana are relating some qualities of Chittanupassana. So we can see as a whole, we can see that when you practice Anapanasati in its full form, you have been practicing Samadhi as well. Because in one explanation, of course, according to this sutta, when you practice Anapanasati in its full form, you practice Satipatthana. With practice of Satipatthana, what you have? Completion of Samadhi, 4 jhanas. So that is what I wanted to share with the 16 steps in a simple way. I think we have to take another week to complete the discourse. Next week, we'll talk about 4 foundation of mindfulness and 7 factors for enlightenment and how you reach to Vijjavimutti with them. But for the important part is this 16 step of Anapanasati. I'm not saying that I give you full account about it, but it is enough for you to understand how exactly these 16 steps continue. And what I want to say is that some people have some experience on Anapanasati either because of Anapanasati practice or another practice. So they can start meditation from the middle of these 16 steps. Sometimes I practice Chittanupassana directly instead of going to basic steps. That kind of thing of Anapanasati could be done when only you practice Anapanasati and understand many things about it. And some people become more mindful about Vedana, rapture and pleasure. But one thing should be understood, everyone, that you have to be mindful about the basic step of Anapanasati to begin it. Right, so I'll leave you comments and add something to this discussion. And also, if you have any questions, you please feel free to ask any. I try my best to answer.
Bante.
Yes.
So the 16 steps that you have just described, aren't they the same as the introspective breathing or the 4 focuses of introspection or the Satipatthana? It's the same as that, isn't it?
Yeah.
So that means, so when you do Anapanasati, and then when you go through that entire process of the 16 steps, that's introspectively, so then that you are practicing Satipatthana at the same time.
Indeed.
Yes. And then, so while you are focusing or practicing Satipatthana, so that does not mean that one goes from one step to another and then to the other, because while doing it, you may switch from one to another. Sometimes if you begin with Kayanupassana, it could go to Vedananupassana, and then from there it could go to Chittanupassana and Dhammanupassana. So that means you're not doing those 4 separately, but all 4 could occur one after the other, or sometimes it may be just 2, sometimes it may be 3, but it could come at any time, isn't it?
What I want to say here is that it is always good to begin from the very beginning.
Mm-hmm.
And because when we start this meditation with the subject Anapanasati, we
Yes.
of course do it with sitting posture practically, and earlier, before that, we would be doing something mundane. So it means that our mind was not in full practice of sati, samadhi, and panya.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So when you sit on the cushion and make your posture accurate and correct, and so you're trying to take your mind out of those mundane things, so that watching your breath, taking your full mindfulness over here, watching in breath and out breath would be good for many people, because no matter how you what you are in meditation, this is a new moment for you to meditate, right? Suppose you are a very experienced meditator, but you were having a discussion about construction of a critique construction of a whole, and you were talking about some problem of people with over the phone. So suppose right after those activities we normally do, we start meditation on anapanasati. Depending on your experience, you can quickly begin those steps, but many people want that gradual steps to be focused, just to get their mind into kind of happy and successful step of anapanasati. So when you take anapanasati as karmasthana, you don't want to necessarily think, okay, I'm going to satipatthana after this, I'm going to Satta Bojjhanga right after Satipatthana. You don't want to plan you don't want to think about that, because if you practice Anapanasati step very well, you are there with Satipatthana and with the 7 factors for enlightenment, right? So you
Yes.
don't want to think in the meditation, okay, according to Sutta, I'm switching now to Satipatthana. I don't see that through that kind of things happen in practical meditation, because you feel, in other words, when you feel that there is no any hindrance or no any disturbances, you know that you are in the first jhana. You are in the mental calmness, peace. Sometimes you are unable to separate these mental qualities. Sometimes you are unable to identify these mental qualities as such, because you don't have theoretical understanding. You haven't read the sutta, but you know what exactly happening in your mind.
Yes.
But so what I wanted to tell you is that now we learn the Satipatthana discourse, so that we know what exactly happening now, mind. So now, in other words, we know the sutta and the step of Anapanasati, and we try to find out those steps in Anapanasati without application of it, which is a problem sometimes. Some people say that Pante, we didn't go to Chittanupasana yet, Dhammanupasana, and we are still hang on to first one. So maybe the knowledge has become a taboo obstacle for
Yes.
them, because
Yes.
they are thinking about that particular step over the first and second, and somehow they try to imagine them.
Mm-hmm.
So in that sense, we must be careful not to imagine them, but let's do it genuine, like you look at the breath as it happens, so that you feel that your mind is not going anywhere else, but stay with the breathing, and that is called ekagata. Ekagata means you have an ability with your intention to keep there with only that meditation subject, so that you feel that it is happening.
Yeah.
Even the sound comes, mind knows how to disregard it, right? So later on, your mind is happy. That gladdening happy mind is known very well. So the feeling, that happy feeling, is known to you. So this 16 step could happen for a person within 5 minutes. It depends on what you do and how you do your meditation. If you have done your homework and sit and meditate on Anapanasati, you quickly get it. For experienced meditators, they don't want to wait for several minutes to have it. So you will go through all the steps quickly because you know how to reach, how to take your mind into positions where you experience those important aspects of mind and body.
So, so if you practice anapanasati and go through all these 16 steps, I mean, without thinking of that, or I mean, when you develop your mind, what happens is the satipatthana automatically takes place without your knowledge within the anapanasati practice.
Yeah, that sounds the similar thing sounds in the discourse. Yeah, because that's the way we have to, explain it, that it happens kind of automatic way.
Automatically, yes.
Automatically it is there. You realize that you are mindful about your whole body, you are mindful about your vedana, you are mindful about your mind, and you are mindful about anything in your mind. You know what exactly your body and mind now as a whole.
Yeah, it's a gradual development towards the satipatthana if you practice this correctly.
Yeah.
Anapanasati.
But yeah, indeed, yes. And the other question that somebody can ask is that, okay, some people take satipatthana there as their meditation subject. At the beginning of the discourse, Buddha clearly said that there are monks who take satipatthana as their main focus and practice. So in satipatthana, there are many meditation subjects like body parts, 4 elements, and what do you call the nature of the dead body, and then part of anapanasati is also there in kayanupassana. And then when it comes to vedananupassana, all type of feeling are named there as sukha, dukkha, adukkhamu sukha, and also other feelings. And when you go to the chittanupassana, so what you want to do with anapanasati is being done with other subject of meditation in satipatthana also, right? In my view, why Buddha said that satipatthana is already practiced with anapanasati when it is fully practiced, because that is the way it happens, right? Mindfulness of breathing covers mindfulness of everything.
Everything.
So in satipatthana means mindfulness. We talk about sammasati, right?
Yes.
So sammasati is being covered in many ways when you take the anapanasati with 16 steps. So same thing happened. That's why we want to think about satipatthana strongly with anapanasati practice, because it is included in anapanasati.
Yes, that's what I was trying to ask you. Yes, it is included in that. So because Buddha himself, I think somewhere here it was said that ekano ayam bhikkhave maggo, that anapanasati, it takes somebody straight towards nirvana by fulfilling all those steps if you can practice it correctly, isn't it? Because you can understand what's to be done.
And anapanasati as a karmasthana is good for many characters. So some like karmasthana like metta or anicca sanya would not be good for some characters depending on their nature. But anapanasati is good for all the 6 characters in Buddhist typology, because it covers many things. And we can see that compassion, kindness, upekka are also built in our mind when we practice anapanasati. We can show that because anapanasati has led the person develops satipatthana, and then when we come to maturity of satipatthana, you have 7 factors for enlightenment. So it's gradually happening. And the other thing is that when you have mindfulness on breathing in its full form, you have already begun the 7 factors for enlightenment as well, because Piti Bojjanga is there. With
Yes.
Piti in the second tetra, you have already begun Piti Bojjanga there. And when you tranquilize your bodily formation and mental formation, it is the manifestation of tranquility, Pasadi Bojjanga there.
Yes.
Right? You have Anicca Anupasi, Viraga Anupasi. You, of course, practice some sort of Upekka Bojjanga, Samadhi Bojjanga, Virya Bojjanga. And so you have already put, foundation for Bojjanga too.
Yes. Yes, it's very clear. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you very much, Bhante.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much.
Bhante, can I just comment on, we said,
Yeah.
Sabbakaya Patisangvedi, like, I guess they say the whole body of the breath versus the whole body. I believe in practical sense, whole body is probably a bit useful for my my experience, and the body of the breath is kind of, body of the breath is in breath, out breath, there's a gap. So I guess it's a short area to focus, and maybe the whole body is a little bit more stable focus. That breath and follows the entire body anyway, so it becomes tranquil. So I believe, I feel the second one, the whole body, is more practical. And the number 2 is then Parimukang Sati. Again, there's a controversial thing. Some people talk about tip of the nose, focus on the tip of the nose. I mean, there's some technique, but Buddha never talks about the tip of the nose meditation here. He talk about the breath, focusing on the in and out breath. What do you think of that controversial? I mean, a lot of people have different views on this. I don't know. Like, what's your take on this?
Yes, thank you very much. Yeah, I agree with the first one. First, explanation of you. I feel the whole body with that. I am agree with that, because the breath as a body, it could be taken as a fact, but in my way of practice, I feel the whole body with Sabbakaya Patisangvedi. So as I repeatedly saying that with this practice into this level, you have an ability to see the whole body. So I agree with that, and that is my way of practicing Sabbakaya Patisangvedi. And with Parimukang Sati, yes, there are some people say tip of the nose, some people say edge of the lips, some people, according to Burmese tradition, it is nowhere in the over here, it is the belly. Yeah, none of those things mentioned in the primary sources like discourse. They are all commentaries, sub-commentaries, and interpretations. Yeah. I like to go with the primary sources.
Yes.
Because there is no confusion at all. It is the sensation of breath, and look at, when we breathe in and breathe, when breathe in and out happens, we know that it happens. So basically, I feel it not putting my attention at any place at all, because I know that it happens. So as you said, I don't want to hang on to tip of the nose and at the edge of the lips or anywhere in the body, but because I know that breathing happens. Right.
Thank
so it is very practical to say that you have to keep the attention somewhere in front of you, because the nostril is over here. So I can look at my whole face and zoom in and out my attention to nostril. And if I want, and I can do it. So Parimukang Sati, keeping your attention in front of somewhere over here, would be the message that the Buddha wanted to give. But I do not want to follow this different interpretation. I know that if people follow it and nothing harm happen, it is up to them.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't want to say that they are wrong.
That's wrong answer. Yeah.
Yeah. But what we are and what we all are agreeing with is that the Sutta doesn't mention it.
Mention that. Thank you.
Yeah. So it is a very deep discourse, and it is very difficult to split out all the experience out of Anapanasati because the language sometimes is poor tool to explain all the Dhamma. I know that when you say something, you have the same feeling that language is not adequate to say what exactly you experience, but let's try to speak about it just because friends get it and they will, encourage to do their own meditation and so forth. And having said that, I know that this discourse is subtle because it is directing us to catch all the subtle dhammas after this. So we'll discuss them next week. I hope we can cover the Satipatthana, of course, we Satipatthana, and also Satta Bojjhanga, and then Vijja Vimutti. There is a small section for Vijja Vimutti, but we'll make a kind of note in our mind that Anapanasati is such a wonderful discourse. It's a wonderful practice, and we have to do it. So have that genuine interest to learn about it and practice it. So somehow,
can you get a copy of this recording? Do you record these ones? Is there a link?
Yeah, of course. If anybody wants to have the recording, please request like Dr. Pia request, so I can provide you. I can email.
I like to post it somewhere because this is very well done today. So
yeah,
a lot of people will benefit from it. Please, thank you so much.
I will send you.
Okay.
All right, it's 9:25 now, so we'll finish today's Sutta discussion. Thank you very much for your addition and comments and questions, and thank you for listening carefully about the Anapanasati. I wish you all happiness and peace through this wonderful Anapanasati Sutta. Of course, take it and make it yours so that you will really benefit from it. So wish you blessing for good health. Be mindful about your health because with good health, you can do better in the training. With bad health, you, of course, if you are an experienced meditator, you would do better with Vedananupasana, but chances are less. So have good health and try your best to follow the Dhamma exactly as the Buddha said in Anapanasati in your meditation. And with the blessings of the Noble Triple Gem in that way, I remain here. May you all be well, happy and peaceful. See you next week. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Okay.